Welcome back. Episode 38, Rangers of the Grid. And it's
We
been
back.
what? It's been what, been 16, 15 days?
Been a little bit of a break.
Little random break. Life got busy, got real
Mhm.
busy, but you know what? We back. We
Yep.
moving, we grooving, we doing a few things. And what's good, dog? How's it been?
It's been good, man. It's been good. Just back in the swing of things at work and waiting to hear I'm going to be going back to school. CSU's on strike and all that. So,
Oh man. Just you know what? It's
so
always tough when your
it's
future
just a day by
in the hands of
day.
someone else. When
Yeah.
someone else has your future in their hands, it's always tough, dog.
Yeah.
Not much you can do about it. You just gonna deal with it, roll the
hmm
punches as they come. What else you gonna do, right?
But that's all I can
You
do.
know, I'm gonna send a nasty email. Okay,
Okay, cool. What's that going to do? Nothing. Because
exactly.
guess what?
Like
Ain't nobody going to check it because they on strike.
they on strike. You know what I mean? But we back. I was on an annual trip with my students in the
hmm
wilderness. Your boy was walking. I screenshotted him and sent him to my wife during this because it was kind of mind blowing. I guess how much I was having to walk. Let's see. One of the first days, I had to walk almost 16,500 steps. It's about
Okay.
seven and a quarter miles. Burned 3,000 calories that day just walking. It's always fun. And then the next day, I walked 18,000 steps and I burned 3,200 calories just walking,
Yeah, dude.
hiking.
Y'all be walking.
Yeah, and I tell the students that, and it's always funny to me. I'm not discriminating because I was that kid.
hmm
I was a chunky kid. Luckily for me, though, I was very athletic. I played multiple sports.
Yep.
Basketball was my main sport, so my feet were good. We have students. It's always funny. They're struggling. They have to hold on to Mr. Carry On as we're going uphill. And I tell them, just hold on. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. They're like, my feet hurt. And I'm like, I told you not to wear them Jordans out here.
Why would y'all even bring Jordans?
They must got money, dog. I
But
don't know.
I'd be like this. Don't bring these shoes. Be out here in nature. It's gonna be muddy. It was like snowing up there before y'all even went.
The first night, it was raining like as if someone was just pouring buckets on everybody.
Yeah.
hmm So yeah, like it was fun. Like I had a great time. I had a blast. I got to bring out an old alter ego, Reggie Bright, at fun night.
Oh.
And let's just say they turned all the lights out on purpose because of it. It was fun. I had a great time dancing to some random reggaeton music they had on.
Okay.
Because that's how we get down there, Shady Creek on a fun night. Yeah, had a blast. But now we're back here, Rangers of the Grid. Um, we told you guys the last time we were on, we were going to talk about Dino Thunder. And Dino Thunder to me holds a special place, not even just for me, but I know that that's my, the other host of this podcast, like favorite. Right,
It
Marcus? Like,
is.
this is literally your favorite.
It literally is. It's a season I can watch new. I mean, obviously, it's the season I have watched like the most times, but like I
hmm
never get tired of it. It's like sometimes you'll watch something and be like, here's this part again. Okay, now we gotta get through this. Like with Dino Thunder, I am never bored. Like that, I've told you too, like how when it comes to like how I watch like seasons, like a lot of times I'll skip through the fight scenes because there's nothing like really being like talked about. It doesn't really add to the stories. Dino Thunder's different. They have a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
story stuff going down in the fight scenes.
Yeah, like, you're completely right, because Dino Thunder to me was, at the time, too, I felt relatable.
Yes.
Like, it was a relatable show in that, like, when I first saw it, I was like, I can actually kind of see bits of myself in
Hmm.
both of these, and you don't always get that, especially at the time this show was made, right? This show is in 2004. It
Yes.
goes from February to November, so literally the end of my eighth grade year, going into high school.
Hmm.
And for me personally, that's just like that's a really weird time, right? Like it's a really weird age.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of like almost like the most formative age in a sense.
It was, and it was just funny because, in we this episode we're really just talking about the beginning of it, right? The first two
Yes.
episodes kind of set the stage for everything, but um, I'll just say, like when I saw Tommy in there, I was very much like taken back, right? Almost like, I guess you'd say, childlike, right?
Yes.
But um, it's funny because, like, I am like, oh, I'm still in eighth grade, right? I'm in middle school, but like I have to transition to high school, which is a whole nother environment.
Yeah.
Right, and that's where I almost started relating more to the Rangers themselves then,
Hmm.
because they're in that space.
Yeah. This was and plus this was, I mean, I remember for me, this was the season that brought me back to Rangers. Like,
You've said that.
because Ninja Storm. So I remember watching, like, I was still always like that kid that was like, yeah, I still watch Power Rangers, and all the other kids. I remember some kids in like first grade being done with Rangers and being like, this is too
Oh
kid.
yeah,
I'm
like
like,
I
what?
told you, Marcus. I couldn't even, like, it's weird, like, because we're kids, right? And every kid wants to, like,
Yes.
have friends and seem cool. I couldn't. I had to stop talking about Power Rangers around like fourth or fifth grade.
Yeah. And so I think it was really like third grade was when like the holdouts of like the final, like the last few kids were still kind of would watch it or talk about it. But then, so now here we are for me. This was seventh grade. Well, really, but then I still watched. That was when Dino Thunder came out? But really, like when Ninja Storm was happening, I was kind of like, eh. And I started to fall out of it, and I actually never finished Ninja Storm. But I mean,
Wild.
I've gone back. I've since gone back and watched it all the way through, and I'm like, holy crap, this is an amazing season. It was. But
Low key, one of my favorite seasons.
it's an amazing season, and I
Me and
can't
that
wait
Red Ranger looked a lot alike my freshman year.
to. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun season to dive into. But with Dino, so I remember I was kind of like, okay, I'm done. This is it. I'm done with Rangers. But then, like, I remember seeing the character promos for Dino Thunder,
Hmm.
and it was this one that they had with Tommy, and I'm like, wait, what? And I remember them saying, Tommy's back. And I was like, hold
Oh,
up, hold
that
up, hold up, hold up.
that got you, huh?
And I remember trying to figure out, like, okay, when is it airing? Where is it airing? I gotta watch this, because Rangers airing was at like a weird flux. It kept like shifting. It was on like ABC Kids, like like on Saturday mornings. Sometimes it would be on Sundays on like
Hmm.
ABC Family. So it was like this weird. I never knew where it was, so I didn't actually get to see Dino Thunder. I think until like I think I missed the premiere. So I never saw the premiere episodes, and I think I kind of came in on like episode 3 or 4, so right before Tommy came back, which for me was
Mm.
fine. And it wasn't until like I remember, dude, they were coming out with like volume sets of the season. It wasn't the full season. They only went up to like I think episode 20 or whatever, about maybe
Hmm.
halfway mark of the season. But they were releasing them on like VHS and then DVD. And I remember, dude, I was getting those, and I finally saw that beginning and like those first 2 episodes, which is what the main focus of this episode is about. And dude, those 2 episodes are great.
I still like this season. To me, is great too because it kind of continued on the whole. We start with three,
Yes.
which is very different, right? Like very different than what they've done. Luckily, the season before this, that's what they did too. They start with three,
Yeah.
right? They add more as they go on. Um, but like I don't know, they kind of just they hit on certain cylinders. And let's start off with who are these people, right? Who are the
Hmm.
Power Rangers? And we got Connor McKnight is the Red Dino Ranger. We got Ethan James, the Blue Dino Ranger. Shout outs to Four Brothers. And then we
Yeah.
got Kira Ford, who is the Yellow Dino Ranger. And the cool part is too is that their characters are just I feel like all different,
Oh,
right?
100%. Like, this was the thing that was interesting too. Like, a lot of, also, you have to realize the thing about Dino Thunder, this is a return to them being teenagers.
Hmm.
We haven't had like teenager Power Rangers really since, I mean, what, maybe Turbo in space? Because remember, at the beginning of In Space, they were still supposed to be like, they were still kind of going to school for like a few episodes, and then they just dropped it.
I think you're right.
Um,
It's Turbo.
and then after that, that's when we got into like the career, like young adults, in the sense of like,
Hmm.
Lost Galaxy. They were all like working for Terra Venture, Lightspeed Rescue. Those were adults. You can't tell me they weren't adults.
Hmm.
Um, and then obviously Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, Wild Force, and then Ninja Storm. I believe, if I remember correctly, they started off, they were supposed to be like, there were mentions of them being in high school, but it was never shown. It was never talked about, and then eventually just kind of like cut. Like, I think it only popped in for maybe that first like episode. But here we are, teenagers again. And not only like, this is the thing, they're not friends.
Yeah.
Like, normally they always start off like, there's at least, like with Turbo, like Ashley and Carlos knew each other, Cassie and TJ became friends. Justin's just thrown in there, like, he's a little leftover. Even in Mighty Morphin, they were all friends. Yeah, now they all had different personalities, but still all different friends. This
Yeah.
time, they're legit, like, they're not friends at all. They have their own little cliques that they hang out with, but they have to come together for that. And that, I think, what
They're
kind of
very
made that
similar to
fun.
like the beginning of the 2017 movie.
Yes. Like, when I see that 2017 movie, I was like, this is Breakfast Club, this is Power Rangers, and then this is like, Dino Thunder all in one.
For sure.
But yeah, like the 2017 movie, even though it was like based off Mighty Morphin, let's be real, the whole like premise of it was totally like Dino Thunder, Breakfast Club, like the kids, essentially, they're not friends. They're all from different walks of life, different cliques, and all that, and they're in like detention. Well, I mean, Dino Thunder was detention. That's the Breakfast Club part. With the 2017, that was more of like the um only a few of them were in detention, but then at the end they were all just hanging out in detention. So
Yeah, because
along with
and
that
like
part,
you said, they were all different. Like they weren't
yeah,
friends.
mm-hmm,
You know what? You had was it Ethan? Right, it was a smart kid, right?
yeah,
You had a little rock star and Kira, and then you had the athlete
mm-hmm,
with Connor, which um, this is 2004, so it's still the stigma of the athlete's the star, the athlete's the Red Ranger.
dude. And plus too, like, let's look at their tropes, bro. Those were all kind of like the big things at that time.
Hmm.
Like, let's like Connor playing like soccer right now. That may seem a little kind of like okay, but dude, back then Beckham was like it.
Hmm. Like,
That
I
was
know
when.
all the young kids talk about like Messi and right Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm,
They love these guys, but like you were saying, Marcus, before then,
yeah,
bend it like Beckham.
yeah. That we had that movie that was like soccer became huge because of him. Like he put soccer on that. Like he turned it from just like an overseas sport to a global sport. And I know that sounds weird and very like American, but like it's the truth. It was only like in every country, big in every country except for America. Once it hit America, now it's a fully global sport. Um, but he made that popular here in the US. So it's like once he came over to the LA Galaxy. So, they having their Red Ranger be like, soccer player. Plus, let's be real, dude. Homie kind of looked like Ashton Kutcher. He always reminded me of Ashton Kutcher too.
Oh, and he was popular at the time.
Like, yeah, Ashton Kutcher was big at the time, and the hair, like, that kind of
That
almost like,
hair was what a lot of those guys look like.
yeah, that 70s style hair. I'm like, it's such like Dino Thunder is such a capsule, like a time capsule in the sense of like how that like early 2000s, like early to mid 2000s were like.
Well, and Kira's
Kira,
like trying to be like Avril Lavigne.
yeah, like they even make mention of that like throughout the whole series. But it's funny, like they like at first they say, oh, she's trying to be like she's the Avril wannabe, and then I know in later episodes they call her like they say, oh, you're upset because you're not going to be the next Hillary Duff.
Yeah.
But really, and this is me looking back now, and I know this is Dino Thunder predates this. If anything, Kira would have been more like Haley Williams from Paramore. Like she starts off as that like kind of edgy because Kira softens up throughout the season. Like at first she's that full blown kind of like edgy rocker girl to then by the season she's like more like I'll wear a dress.
Well, let's start off too. Like the way this whole thing started is you see like you see Tommy, bro.
Right.
Like that's how like they get the hook in the show. By the way,
when you talk about starting hot, I don't know of any other Rangers season, possibly besides Cosmic Fury, that has started this hot.
Yeah, because you put the guy out there right away, bam, and it's just like a sidebar of like, oh, you're a high school teacher. No, you're just not any high school teacher. You're a paleontology teacher,
right?
Paleontology, like, bro, like what high school has that?
And like you're a doctor, and we've only been away from your high school graduation for maybe not even a decade.
But also, I didn't know you went back to school.
Right?
I thought you was racing.
Like a race car driver, stock car driver, or whatever, Tommy. What's going on? What's going on here?
I thought the same thing. So I found that interesting.
Yeah.
Right away, cool teacher, right?
Yeah.
He's a cool teacher because he freaking takes them out for detention to do something. Right? And of course, right, Marcus? Rangers can't go anywhere outside.
No. I love how that has still kind of followed them. Like even before it's like Rangers. Like once you are a Ranger, yeah, you can't go anywhere. But this is before they're Rangers. Like it's just following Tommy in a sense.
Isn't it just funny though? Because like they go to do this thing, He looks different, right? He's Tommy. He has short hair.
Yeah.
Like we noticed that with Forever Red.
Yeah, we're back to short, spiky hair, Tommy. But now he got his little line.
Yeah, he's got his no comment. I'm not gonna say it here. But he is Dr. Tommy Oliver.
Yep.
Glasses on, which makes him smart because he's a doctor, right?
Right.
All the tropes, like you said. Now he has this. They go to a museum, right? They notice that the museum is run by a certain person. Automatically is like it like ticks something in his head. But what I found always interesting in watching this back now, by the way, not only can you watch these back on YouTube.
Yep.
Pluto. Pluto TV for anyone out there. I think Pluto TV now has Power Rangers all the way up to RPM.
Yeah, and it's 24/7.
Well, yeah, like you can go on the on-demand library and just like
it's.
So now I really have no excuse to not watch RPM. But anyways, didn't you find it weird that there was like a robotic T-Rex right away?
Yes.
Like I found it weird, but also like Dino. Like here we go.
Like. Okay, and I know it like this clip has gone down in like infamy of like when like the T-Rex statue comes behind the thing. Like Tom's like, What happened to the statue? And like, but let's be real. Also, when they pull up, I get this is 2000. I know it came out 2004, but it's like 2003 CGI. Okay.
Hmm.
You know something's up with that dinosaur when it's just standing there. Like, looks all animated, a little cartoonish. But then also from the promos, I mean, it's in the like the opening video for the show. Like, it's chasing Tom. You see it chasing Tommy,
Hmm.
but then it curves the thing right there, and he's like, "Where's that?" And it's just right here. Like, "Oh, I'm right here." Legit roars in his face, and homie kicks it.
Yeah.
Hits it with a spin kick, and it's actually
Booyah.
phased. Like the fact that he jumps up, kicks this robotic, which I mean, unless we find out it's a dinosaur later, but for all we know right now, this is an actual T Rex.
Hmm.
This is an actual T Rex, and Tommy legit kicks it, spin kicks it in the face, and it is actually like phased to the point to where it like stumbles back and gives Tommy enough time to run to his car, like deal with it not starting automatically, and buckle up and lock the door and all that, and give a little
But
quip,
this is my thing too. Like the running, the chase, right? It's always the chase with the T Rex. Every
right?
movie does it since Jurassic Park,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is amazing, by the way. Like, shout out to Jurassic Park. It's like knocked out.
Yeah, and I think what's funny though too is because, and this is the thing for me that ruins because I'm a big dinosaur person. I love dinosaurs. I read up on
That's
stuff
why you're
about
so
them.
smart.
Oh, thank you.
No, for real.
I
There's a new study actually out.
really
Yeah, I have to send it to you off air. But if anyone's
okay.
listening to this, there's a new study that came out saying that people that are like really into dinosaurs and like care to like look up things about dinosaurs are usually have a little higher IQ than the rest.
Oh, well then. I'm not
Well
gonna
then,
lie. I thought I thought it was just a little bit of some autism or something. I don't know.
it still is. They've been
Probably.
trying to. It's been trying to catch you since you was 7, dog. It's here now.
Just accept it. But no,
Sure. Fabulous.
but this thing that I saw, and, like I literally just read this the other because like the big thing now with dinosaurs is they're saying how like they had to have had a lot like feathers, they weren't just these scaly things. So there are feathers for them.
Chicken,
Okay.
huh? Little
Yeah.
chicken.
Hmm. So of course they had to have feathers. They obviously probably didn't sound like the massive roars that we're used to.
Yeah.
Um, but then also they weren't that fast and as big as Jurassic Park makes them seem.
The
Like
raptor, right? Isn't the raptor hecka tiny?
it's like
Velociraptor.
the biggest one would be maybe 4 foot tall.
Mm.
They're not these and a T-Rex is, yes, they're big, but they're not as big. Like um and that was kind of like a joke in the last Jurassic World movie when he's like, oh, they always make them bigger. Well, yeah, because they made them bigger to make them seem scarier. And
Yeah.
regardless, they're scary regardless. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
care.
yeah.
But like
It's like a
this
standing
one,
shark.
huh?
It's like a standing shark with arms.
Yeah. But like also they weren't that fast. Like at the most, a T-Rex could run maybe 15 to 20, possibly 20, if they,
Mhm.
and that's them like fully exerting, and it's only going to be for a short second. So T-Rex's top speed is 15 miles per hour. So now that I know this and I'm watching this, I'm like, Tommy, you could have dusted that dude, unless you just in first gear the whole time. But
Mhm.
no, it's just when I saw that and it's chasing Tommy in his Jeep, and then it hits the bridge and that crumbles and all that. I'm like, are you not thinking like, okay, there's just a massive dinosaur now. First of all, it has to be like taken away and handled,
Mhm. Yeah.
But then also, I'm just like, and is nobody going to report like this damage to
Mm-mm.
this bridge?
Mm-mm.
Like,
Mm-mm.
what if people were there,
Everywhere Tommy goes, dog, places just get tore up.
right? And I think that's something when we dive in on Tommy's part of the character, because I know he's not the focus of this episode, but when we do his focus episode of Dino Thunder, I got a lot to go in on Tommy about. I do,
Good.
but
Well, It's
Back to the
interesting,
series.
right? That happens, right?
Yes.
Which, like, whoa, okay, this is a
Hmm.
lot. The kids, like, of course they fall into a sinkhole,
Yeah.
right? Like, of course they just fall into these caverns. Man, this weird high tech layer, huh? Like, whoa, like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
And then they find the glowing gems. Weird. It's almost like the 2017 movie is very similar, right?
But to me, it was very just like looking back at this, it was like, oh, okay, they find this room, and it's like a. I know they said the whole thing of like, oh, I don't like Kira said, I don't want to be here when whatever lives here comes back.
hmm
I get that, but it's just like a, well, how are you gonna find your way out? Like, you're just gonna follow these steps up here? Like, you're gonna go back through the woods?
Yeah, you're
But
right though. Like, how they're gonna find their way back?
why not? And I also thought too, like, I get it's it's the whole this is a kid's show, so of course they're gonna
Yep.
just take the color things. Why not
hmm
just take that whole thing like, hey, dude, we found this.
Yeah, and they also they find these gems, right? They do
Uh-huh.
that, but then they get attacked,
Yes, of course.
right? Of course they get attacked, right? And oh man, suddenly I have powers. Suddenly I'm strong. Suddenly I'm fast. I can
Hmm.
make sounds with my screams because I'm a rock star singer.
Yeah. We got
And
Black Canary, the Flash, and Luke Cage all in one.
yeah, yeah, like literally, like, oh man, they can't hurt me.
Hmm.
And it's just funny because that's such a teenage thing to act like nothing happened
Yeah.
when it's all done. Like, oh no, don't tell nobody secrets.
Right? Like, I saw that too. Now, at first I was like, because I remember watching it, I'm like, yeah, you don't tell anybody. I'm excited with Ethan. Like, yeah, you're gonna end up on some table being dissected and all this. But looking back now, I'm like, no, you should have told Tommy.
Right
But this
away.
is also me being the adult now. Like, but I was like, yeah, God, these freaking kids don't tell nobody.
But they also don't know he's who he is.
Exactly. And I love how, like, at the beginning we see this as like Cassidy and Devin, who are the kind of bulk and skull.
Yeah, that's the
And we
rule.
and we get the like, this is Katrina Devine, the actress who plays Cassidy. She was also in Ninja Storm
hmm
as one of Lothor's nieces. But it's like she's coming back because this is also a
I was a
very kind of
fan too. I was a fan as a teenager.
dope. Uh
It's up my alley.
there's you see this kind of trend with starting with like this, because now we're like in the second season of the Disney era, and you see
hmm
this trend of like recurring like actors coming
Well,
in.
like the lady that plays Haley, she's in Ninja Storm for a brief minute too.
Yeah, she was in Ninja Storm. Um, the guy who does the voice of well, so the black guy from RPM, the general, the Red Ranger's
hmm
dad, he was in Ninja Storm as like a sensei there. He does the voice of Zeltrax in Dino Thunder. Like, he was in SPD. Like, you get these recurring actors here, and she's kind of almost the start of that with her character. But her whole mission, of course, they're the comedic relief, the comedic duo, the Bulk and Skull, if you will. But like, she's all trying to dig into Tommy. Like, you too young to be a doctor. How are you supposed to be teaching us? You know? And then later on, right before we get to this end of the first episode, we see she's telling Devin straight up, like, yeah, I called Angel Grove High and they won't tell me nothing about him. So I like that we're getting these little like kind of like layers and like built
And
upon the
that's
past.
interesting, by the way, because Angel
Mhm.
Grove High won't tell you nothing about him. So what did they find out eventually?
What did
Because
they know?
I don't remember his identity being revealed.
It never was. And so to me, I always felt like maybe after well, because obviously, let's be real, Bulk and Skull knew who he was in Forever Red.
hmm
They knew who he was, like, but I feel like after the in space thing, like Countdown to Destruction, when TJ and them revealed
hmm
themselves, I think it then possibly, obviously, off screen.
Clicked, start
But
clicking.
like, yes. And then people just kind of knew, and then was like, oh,
Because
so
they
were
never
you
really hung out in Angel Grove again, right?
exactly? Yeah.
Like it was
And
never.
yeah, so I feel like that kind of clicked in a sense for people. And then, especially, yeah, by Forever Red, I feel like people kind of then knew who Tommy was in a sense.
Yeah, probably. Um, it is interesting to me though that like I guess this will go. I'll say I'll save that thought for when we review this whole season.
Yeah.
But so you're right. Like that, the episode one kind of ends a little different. I feel little
Yeah.
little like Tommy senses something's up, but also we get like I don't know someone who was it the one with Kira the dinosaur was it Mezagog already?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So they
Mezagog right at
kidnapped
the end.
Kira. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what did you think by the way? Like first impression of Mezagog.
Great design, first of
Great
all.
design. Look like
Like,
a better version of the Goombas, if you remember from the Mario Brothers movie in the
yeah,
'90s.
he has that sort of look. But um I was like, okay, like he looked like a villain. Like to
Hmm.
me, I mean, I know he was, but I'm like, this is a great like because a lot of times in Rangers, these kind of monsterish villains, like the head boss ones,
Hmm.
sometimes are just these kind of like stoic things that let's be real, they mouths don't move, or they just kind of light up or something in them while they're talking. Like you could see this guy. He felt menacing. He looked scary. Like this was to me, he is one of the all-time great villains. Um, but yeah, you see him, you see, and then they kidnap Kira, and she gives up her Dino Gem. She's like gave it to Connor and Ethan, which
Yeah,
takes us to the start of the second part of this. Is they're legit like, oh well, we should go tell Dr. Oliver.
yeah. Which to me right away is like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, like when they go and then they're like, oh look, a dinosaur statue, like, and then it's like the same thing all over again. Like he pulls down the T-Rex jaw.
This is my thing though too. Like he basically tells them like who they're fighting.
Yeah.
Tyrannosaurus, part of his creation, right? He goes into the spiel about that and all the
Mm-hmm.
dinosaur DNA technology. Right there is where I guess I can put this in. Okay, bro. Forever Red wasn't that long ago. Okay, you said a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we don't have some tie-ins.
Yeah, because dude, Forever Red would have been at least 2
Yeah,
years?
because Wild Force was before Ninja Storm,
Yeah. Wild Force, Ninja Storm, so
right?
I know
Like,
at the most 3 years,
mm-hmm,
three, but there is that artist that we follow on Instagram, Toku J, the guy that's been making all those uh redesigns of the Rangers.
mm-hmm,
After he completed the Dino Thunder team, he actually to him, I mean, he gave this like his version of like the lore of how Tommy became Tommy,
mm-hmm.
and like how he got to Dino Thunder, or like how sorry, not Tommy became Tommy, but how Tommy became Dr. Oliver. And it's just like, okay, this makes sense. It makes sense. Like Mercer was using him, like because people knew who he was, and all that. So he gives a little backtrack on that of like what could have happened. And I know they think they do go in a little bit of it on the 30th Ranger special, like that graphic novel that came out that dealt with Tommy and Kat's wedding.
Oh yeah.
So like even that gives some kind of history of how he became from like he literally went from I'm a stock car driver to now I'm kind of like the lead Power Ranger guy, like Nick Fury of Power Rangers, to now I'm a high school science teacher with a PhD.
With a PhD, and I'm gonna go teach this high school class that this must be a private school because like they ain't doing that here in these public schools. Uh, and I do like that he goes into the whole thing of what's going on, right? What
Hmm.
happened, like his partner, which right away when he tells about his partner and this and that, like it makes so much sense that why he was tripping. Like, how is this museum by him? Like that doesn't
Hmm.
add up, right?
Yeah, but he's not straight up telling them, and that's the thing.
No,
He's very quiet about it.
yeah, because like he doesn't. I mean, like we said, secretive, right?
Hmm.
Everybody's secretive here
He's like,
because they don't trust each other just yet.
yeah, and it's almost like he's like Batman in a sense.
Yeah, he doesn't want them to know unless like he realizes, oh crap, like I have to
Hmm.
tell them now because like they have these things
Yes.
and like it's time. And by the way, when Mesogog orders, like, and sorry if I'm going ahead, but like when he orders an attack, right, on the city because she got loose, right, she got away.
Hmm. Because it's taco night, dog.
It's taco night,
She
dog.
got to. It's taco night.
She, I just found it really interesting that he unleashed the Zords.
Yeah.
So like he knows what the power of those things have right away, which told you they were
Hmm.
special,
Hmm.
and they had the power of the swords to the point now, like we are saying, now like Batman. Okay, crap, we're in this situation now. I have to give you like, here we go. Like we gotta get on this. Here's your morphers, right? Like,
Hmm.
which to me, I'm like, oh, you just have these, dog. Oh, you
Yeah.
ready? You ready at all times? Like, who was you waiting on?
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of this? Like, why was this happening?
Yeah. Um, and that was the thing too. Like that goes into the like this like when Toku J did like his version of the lore
Hmm.
of that. It's like he when he found the gems, he knew, oh, I could possibly use these. Like this will be greater dino power in a sense. And he
Hmm.
built it obviously, like because a lot of people have always made like the connection or like made a connection of how similar the Dino Thunder symbol of like the footprint looks to like the dragon coin, the dragon
Oh
coin.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it was him kind of like updating things in a sense and also paying homage to like his OG team of Rangers and all that.
Hmm.
So yeah, he did make this. So it was almost like a just in case type thing. It was supposed to like the way he Toku J made it sound in his lore, which I think this was a great way of putting it, was this was almost like a fail safe, a nuclear option.
Yeah, no, and to me, like, I guess you know how like we talked about Hexagon.
Yes.
Okay, and Hexagon was supposed to be after Forever Red, but it didn't. We went into Ninja Storm,
Uh-huh.
right? Don't you think then, because of like the way they had the morphers ready and this and that, there's almost like I don't want to say a version of Hexagon, but that's when they started thinking like we need to be ready.
Yeah. No, 100. And I think too that still goes into the whole thing that kind of Hexagon was trying to build upon of Tommy as this Nick Fury type character of always having these fail safes in a sense.
Yeah, because like I got that vision from him or like that whole thing from him in Forever Red,
Hmm.
and then it was kind of gone, right? It was gone with the Ninja Storm.
Yeah.
Like not much was done with about that stuff. But
Nothing at
then
all.
but
Like
then in
it.
this one we definitely got the vibe right away.
Mhm. Like Ninja Storm made Rangers like in the world of Ninja Storm already. Power Rangers have become like something like in comic books, sort of fictitious, not sure if they're real, which a lot of people thought was like, oh, okay, maybe this doesn't exist in this world, you know,
Hmm.
maybe it's just like a separate universe type thing. But then, because also there were no connections made to past seasons, no mentions. But I think that ultimately has to do with the fact that when Disney completely moved production of the show from LA to New Zealand, now you're on the other side of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
You're trying to do something new. But I think the smart thing with bringing Tommy back is, and this is the thing. Dino Thunder is not a legacy season in the sense of it's not an anniversary season. It's not like a 5-year or a 10-year one.
Mm-mm.
But this is completely
It's
a
an
legacy.
11.
Yeah, but it is fully a legacy season though. Like this is in a sense a sequel to Mighty Morphin.
So it has a lot of the qualities, right? Like
Yeah, besides the teenagers in high school, but just it has
the
that feel,
dinosaurs,
the dinos, Tommy, of course, being in it,
the
but it's
connection.
just like, but it's also like a lot of this stuff, and I like I'll get more into this and my thoughts on this is all built because of him and
Yeah,
almost
don't you
the
also think too,
his
Marcus?
consequences.
But don't you think too, when you look back at Power Rangers seasons and you want a connection to the original and you need a person for the whole season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think of that original like group, he's the only one you could pick for the whole season?
Yeah. Well, yes,
But
him.
like I'm not and I'm saying solo, like no one else is coming this season.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
Him
because with the latest Netflix special that they did, right, Once and Always, like that worked because there were so many of them.
because it was a team,
Yeah,
but
where
you're only
like
getting one, and I mean, the only other person that has pulled this off, which to me is my number. I mean, on the level of Tommy is coming back in that and giving those connections, Adam.
no, but I'm saying for the whole season,
No, I know,
which
but
is different.
I know because it's like Adam has done it for In Space, the two-parter of Once a Ranger, Always a Ranger, for the 15-year anniversary,
Yeah,
and
but
then
this is
Jason.
33. This is like 33 episodes.
I know. Yeah,
Like
no one. No,
that's
you're
like a
right.
hard thing to do. Like to me, so they were smart on who they picked, which probably thought out, methodical of like, yo, we got to figure out how to get this guy back in the fold. But
I
like you
would
said,
have.
Marcus, like you said before, with Power Ranger seasons, they know what's next a lot at the
Yes.
time. So like they knew this was kind of it. We're moving over. Now we got to do Ninja Storm because this is going to be Disney now,
Yeah.
right? So like they already were going to have their plan, I assume, with Ninja Storm. You know, like
Hmm.
Ninja Storm's coming, and there's not much they could do, right? With that being like available because what Wild Force ends in November 2022, right?
Hmm.
With Ninja Store starting. When does Ninja Storm start? Ninja Storm starts February 2003. By the way, all these seasons are always February to November. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but like to me, they already knew, so they already had Ninja Storm basically filmed.
Yeah.
Okay, so once Wild Horse got done and they saw all the Forever Red stuff, I bet you they already went in discussion with Tommy of like, hey man,
Dude,
like,
for me, I was like, I would love to have like to talk to Jason David Frank about that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what were the conversations of this? Like, what was the conversation had that was like, hey, we're doing the season, we want you to come back, and you're going to be this is like the character now where we're taking him. You know, what was
yeah,
that like? I would love to
yeah.
talk to like, obviously, not going to happen, but like even any of them, like, dude, Kevin Duhane, like if he knows, like,
I would love to get him on.
oh, I know, dude.
That's a guy we got to reach out to because he's very active and open about his love for Power Rangers.
Yeah, especially this past year with like the Ranger month, Power month, whatever. Like he was all like brought back to it, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, he's someone I would really love to talk to about too,
We
because
talked to
it's
him
like,
about that and then Four Brothers.
right, like, hey, dog, you was in my favorite season of Power Rangers, and then follow that up with one of my favorite movies, Four Brothers.
Hmm. I still want to wear one of those jackets that either Victor Sweet has or Bobby Mercer at the end of the movie and just walk in the cold.
Mm-hmm. Victor
But
Sweet.
I would say the line, but I'm trying to, y'all. If you watch the movie, y'all know the end. Don't
Mm-hmm.
thank me, thank
Thank
mother.
Victor.
Yeah,
But
I love that.
yeah,
So, anyways, yeah, the Zords are out.
and it's a nighttime
Here's
bat.
your Morphers. Yeah,
It's a
here's your
nighttime thing
morphers.
too.
Yeah, which is so random, right?
Which
That's not like
that has
unlike
never.
Power Rangers.
Yes, this is like the first time that I mean, it's not the first time Rangers have fought at night. There's always episodes like that, and I think it is more prevalent. Like if you notice, whenever they do have nighttime footage of Rangers, it's usually Japanese footage, but so it's Sentai footage. But in America, there's not really that many nighttime fights.
No.
Um, I know Wild Force had one. Cool,
Yeah, and
whatever.
that makes sense too because like they're like in a forest, like I don't know, they're like
Yeah,
in the Amazon rainforest.
no, it happened during the day on like a rooftop thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like with Ninja, but not Ninja Storm, but with Dino Thunder, it was like it was funny because like the sky, it was like the middle of the day. Zeltrax's ship shows up and turns it dark, and it's like, oh, now there's all these clouds and it's dark again. But hey, I guess it's just gonna roll over and make it completely night now. Okay, whatever. But I think it was cool though because it was just like it was something different, you know.
Yeah. Um, I think too that when they gave him the morphers, right, and they got to control these Zords, they're like, what? We don't really know how.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up figuring and this is why I'm like, he's the perfect, like you say, Nick Fury, Zordon character for these people because he right away knows how to. Like he knows what to do,
Yeah.
right? He understands that, hey man, your weapons, right? Like you have these weapons
Mm-hmm.
and that they're powerful. And you can figure out a way to tame your Zords by doing that. And then they make a Zord. By the way, their Zords are sick.
I love their Zords.
Yeah, I know you do. Don't you have them all except one?
Almost, yeah, trying.
Who are you missing?
The white in the Stego, Brachiozord, obviously. Um, and I think there's a few other. I may be missing some auxiliary Zords, but I know I have the core three and the Triassic Rangers Zord.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that Brachiozord though, especially that the DX one that came out,
No.
it's cool because the head can come off and attach to the Megazord, which is sick.
It's so funny to me because like when I see that they're dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, Brachiozord's Titanus, just black,
Right?
but
Right?
black. Think he's sick, right? Like he's
Yeah.
tight. Um,
Huge, carrying all the Zords.
yeah, like he's huge. And I don't know. Like I thought their Zords were really cool. All of them. I always thought I was remembering you were wanting to get them all. So,
Yeah.
but they get the Zords. They form the Megazord. Right here we are. Like they destroy old boy's ship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we get towards the end of the episode. Right, like here we are. Mesogog. Like every single leader, I feel like gets pissed off at the people that mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Um, but then Tommy like gives them basically their. I guess they have their morphers with them at all times, but to me, it's also like their communicator, right?
Oh,
Yeah, there you go, dog.
dude. This is also to me like I said, Dino Thunder is such a like time capsule. Cause dude, the blinged out like chunky jewelry thing
Mm-hmm.
was such a thing in that like early 2000s.
It was cool.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
remember
that was cool.
the thick leather strap watches were coming back with like the fat face, with the fat faces on them.
Uh huh.
Like that was a thing. Chunky jewelry. I was like, God, this is so like. If you want to sum up the like that early mid 2000s,
Yeah.
look at Dino Thunder.
Oh, for sure. Isn't it funny? This is exactly like you said, bro. Like that's what it was.
Yeah.
Mid 2000s was that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. Um, and it was to me a good ending. Like they got the bracelets. Like now they know like crap. We're Power Rangers. Like
Yeah. Tommy
and
gives
then
them that charge. Like he gives
when
them
and
his
he
like Optimus Prime speech of like,
yeah, lives will never be the same.
Mhm. There's one thing
Marcus
I
G.
laughed about too, like rewatching it the other night. I was like, "Ooh, this didn't age well." With Ethan, when they tell him like, "Ooh, we gotta go get," or like, "Oh no," when they have to like actually become Rangers and all that, and like he starts freaking out, which is funny because you would think he'd be the one most down for it,
Hmm.
but he's like, "Oh, I'll BBL, BBL, what's that?"
Hmm.
"Oh, I'll be back later," and
Yeah.
it's like, hmm,
You say
if
that
only it still
now.
was, if only it still was like that, Ethan.
I know. You say that now, dog. They watching you. Yeah, I know. It's funny, right? The lingo, like that was when things were starting to try to get like shortened down, like textile.
LOL. That's what I remember
Yeah.
that year at school because that was that 2003 four. I remember that was when I first heard about like LOL. I'm like, what the heck is this? What is that? LOL? Yeah, what is it? Laugh out loud? Okay. And now basically turned into a period.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So,
You're like, nope. Yeah, bro, that's exactly what it is. LOL.
but yeah,
Oh my god. That's very much what it is, dude. Oh my god. But yeah, dude, Dino Thunder's fun. Just so everyone knows that the next episode 39, when we come out with that, that's going to be, I guess, the second part. But that's going to be all about Tommy becoming the Black Dino Ranger.
yeah,
Because to me, that's pretty epic. Like this guy finally comes back, and he's not coming back as the Green Ranger, the White Ranger, the Red CO Leader Ranger, the Red Turbo Ranger. He's coming back as an all new Ranger, and he's the Black Dino Ranger, shield and all though, because like
right?
that's what if you look back at him in both red outfits, to me that's what was always missing with Tommy, because Tommy's a
Yeah,
shield guy.
he needs some sort of like something. He needs
Because
something
that's
to cover
him.
their shoulders.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
that's him.
it is.
Like to me, that's Tommy, right? And that's going to be a fun one. And then for episode 40, right, because that's a big one. We always say those ones are kind of the big ones. We're going to
Mhm,
dive deep into the White Dino Ranger, Trent, his whole
mhm.
saga, and how eerily similar, like Marcus said, eerily similar to how this show's more like Mighty Morphin than the rest before it.
Yeah.
Because man, like this saga is similar to the Green Ranger saga. Not, albeit it's not all the same episodes, but
No.
three's a lot.
Well, plus also when you look at it too, condensed down, because I know that like on YouTube, the Power Ranger channel has put like the entire 5 episode arc of Green with Evil down, like condensed it down into like one longer video, and it's only like an hour and a half long,
Hmm.
which is funny. So that's the length of kind of 3 episodes with commercials. But when you look back at Green with Evil, there's a lot of filler in it and a lot of repeat stuff. This one was just go, go, go. So
And it's
I
gonna
feel
be a
like,
fun one to talk about.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that one. Let's see. Do you got anything else for him?
now dude, I'm excited to finally be talking about my favorite season.
Oh, I know, because I'll let the cat out of the bag. Episode 41, we'll just go completely all about Dino Thunder. We're going to talk about the games. We'll talk about all the figures. We'll show some images of this stuff. And then we're
Mm-hmm.
just going to let Marcus flow about his love letter.
Yep, might have to start OnlyFans after, but
Oh, man. Here we come. Feet with cake. Let's
uh,
go. All right, man. Let him out.
it's your boys. It's Richard. It's Marcus. We Rangers of the Grid. And we got it. Grocery bag.
Yeah.